In this video, I survived 300 days in hardcore Minecraft. In the past episodes, I've already battled the Ender Dragon, beat the Wither, and raided an ocean monument. And I'm only naming a couple of things that we've done. In this one, I want to get extremely practical. That's why the 3 challenges that I'm going to be setting myself in today's episode are going to be to raid a woodland mansion, build a couple of farms such as a gold farm and an Enderman XP farm, and last but not least, complete some projects around my base just to make it look good. Anyways, if this sounds like fun, let's roll into the video. The first couple of days I spent in the Nether, I needed to get a ton of blackstone for my upcoming project, and whilst I was doing that, I found some ancient debris on the side, which I'm definitely not gonna moan about, but then I just continued with blackstone. When I was coming back, my Nether hub got invaded with magma cubes, and I had to battle it out with them. In fact, it was so serious that I had to put on my netherite chestplate. These small magma cubes were really a pain to deal with. The good news is that I actually have my own skin now. It's a custom one made by me. Anyways, on the next day I went to my ocean monument. I really wanted to implement lecterns in my next build because I noticed that I haven't really used them that much. I got a suggestion to add some to my stream, and so I did. It was now gonna look sick at night. Then I headed over to my village, and the aim of that was to level up my cartographer. I got him so that we could buy the Woodland Explorers map. I really wanted to raid the mansion, but first we needed to do a couple of things. Some more good news: the pumpkin and watermelon farm was working like a dream. The iron farm wasn't doing too bad either. With all the stuff that I collected, I went to trade with the villagers. I needed to get my emerald supply up immediately. After this, I really wanted to improve their living standards, so I started construction on the village. The first thing I wanted to upgrade is the actual slave hall, trading hall I mean. Jeez, I don't know what's going on with me. And I could already see you commenting that this looks like Sid. And it does, I've got to admit. Is this supposed to look like that? Absolutely not. Anyways, I tried to fix it up a little bit with adding some more 3-dimensional shapes and also a better entrance. It was supposed to be open door. And because there was now going to be no protection from zombies and other mobs, I wanted to build a stone wall around it, and for that, I was obviously going to need a lot of stone. So I headed down into my mine and could really just appreciate how good an efficiency 5 pickaxe with haste 2 is. The insta-mine is unreal. I got to finally properly use my super smelter that I started building in the last episode, and boy was it fast. So fast that I could start building almost straight away, and I went for a very similar design than what I used for my river and my own base. But I ran out of stone stairs. Big shout out to the person that told me to use a Fortune 3 pickaxe when harvesting crops. This is an absolute lifesaver. I was literally managing to get an extra couple of stacks of potatoes and carrots per harvest. I don't know why I didn't know that before. More emerald grinding. I collected up some more stone and finally finished the wall, and then I lit the place up so that no zombies spawn inside of it, and I think it came out kind of alright, bearing in mind the main focus was just to protect the villagers. The next day I got a call from the sheep, and she said that she wanted a brand new haircut, so I gave her one, and with the wool I made beds to try to increase the population of my village. Obviously I also extended their enclosure because I felt kind of bad for them. Look at the little ones. It was now time to raid the woodland mansion. I gathered up resources, got the map, and I flew over to where the map told me to go, and to my surprise I actually managed to find it. It took me a while though. I gathered up my courage and went inside. This guy looked at me the wrong way, so I killed him, and same with this guy, and also this guy, and this guy. Most of the time I spent getting lost in the mansion, because that's just what I do. To be honest, it was going relatively smoothly until the evoker came around and spawned the Vexes, but the Vindicators really didn't want to give me a break, and their whole it was annoying, seriously was, and I don't know why, but when I was playing, I thought I was in like half a hearts. That's why you see me running out here, thinking that I'm going to die. Clearly, I'm not on half a heart, so I took them around the tree and took them out one by one, and I don't mean that in a weird way. I came back in to finish what I started, and these Vexes, why are they in the game? I literally hate them, my most hated mob by far. These guys, you can't hit them. You can't hit them, it's impossible. To make matters even worse, I came across another evoker which spawned even more Vexes. The good thing was that he was dropping the totems of undying. To prevent more Vexes from spawning, I took out the rest of the evokers with my bow from a safe distance. Honestly, these guys were an absolute nightmare to deal with. But I did get enough totems of undying to last for my lifetime. I didn't have many books left, so I borrowed some from the library and spent the rest of the time running about like a headless chicken trying to find some hidden loot, such as the Slappist block and also some loot from chests. And honestly, a golden apple and 2 name tags isn't too bad at all. This creeper, not good. With all this loot, I felt like it was the right moment to go back to my base, place which is safe. Rhyme not intended. A lot of totems of undying. It's like almost as if the game knows that I'm gonna need them. I was so rich, I made a jukebox.
And I started dancing about.
With some of the books that I just got, I wanted to enchant some of them, but I got nothing good. To make my life a little bit easier, I wanted to link up some nether portals. So I made one over at the village area, I went over into the portal, and then I linked it up with where I was before, and I actually started this in the last episode. I knew that I had a soul speed 3 enchantment at my base, so I wanted to put soul sign on the bottom so that I could travel fast AF. Back in the overworld, my villagers were getting kind of hungry, and to prevent them from making any complaints to the government for low welfare standards, I completely removed the breeding chamber and let them go free. Look at these bunch of kids just having fun, not knowing they're gonna be slick. Enough of that. AFK time, a very healthy amount of iron, and also pumpkins and melons. Then I was just fixing up my tools. It was now the moment to add some more traders to the hall. Having to take this father away from his son really did hurt, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
This is business.
We had around 5 traders at this point. The rest of the day I was just organizing my inventory and color coding all of the shulker boxes. And back in the village for day 217 to 218. Now I was just trying to get a librarian, which gave me an efficiency 4 or 5 enchantment. These guys really didn't want to cooperate, but eventually I got efficiency 3, and that was the best that I could have found. So I took 2 and I was going to combine them to get efficiency 4 and combine that with my efficiency 4 pickaxe to get efficiency 5. Well, that was a tongue twister, but essentially we now had an insta mine silk touch pickaxe as well as a fortune 3 pickaxe, which was just amazing. I headed back down to the mines and tested this pick out. Am I the only one that finds this sound satisfying? I'll shut up in a second and you can listen to this. When I was doing that, I heard this slime, and I guess I was going to use these slime balls for sticky pistons or something. Nevertheless, they were going to be useful. On day 221, I wanted to start making the first farm out of the few. This was going to be an Enderman XP farm, and I found this pink sheep over here, so I knew I was going to be lucky from the very beginning. But anyways, I went around my world just looking for wool. When I came back to my base, I got prepared, and then headed straight into the end. And then headed straight into the end. And then headed straight into the end. I got this farm design from Shulker Craft because I am not smart enough to make this up myself, and when I was going down this water stream, I felt very, very cautious, and rightly so, because I misplaced one leaf block and all of a sudden I was almost dead. The whole thing could have been over. My reflexes were really bad over here, but I kind of panicked, but I'm really glad that it ended the way it did, because it could have been much worse. And the shaders making the leaves move, it really didn't make it any better. But anyways, I carried on and carried out the build. And when I went away, a ton of Endermen spawned on this platform, so I had to manually get rid of them. I placed all the carpets and all the stuff and followed the tutorial pretty much. Boy, watching me build is really precious. Building out the stone platform at the top took me by far the longest out of this whole build. But then it was time to place the endermite in its own spot. So I built this little dirt thing and started throwing a ton of ender pearls, and eventually one did spawn, and so I had to name him, you know, very nice name over here, and I placed them inside of this minecart,
and now I can trap him here forever.
As soon as I made the endermite visible to the endermen, they started going nuts. I honestly wasn't expecting this to be this OP. The XP is basically unlimited. Due to there being so many ender pearls, everything started lagging, so I built this dispenser system to reduce all the lag. Yet again, shout out to Shulkercraft. After I got to level 57, I thought that that was enough, and I went back to my base to try to get a good enchantment on my axe, because I had crappy ones before, and after a while I managed to get a decent one over here, so I put mending on it, and now I basically had a fully enchanted set of tools. That was actually good enchantments. To use up the rest of the XP, I just enchanted a ton of books. Let's just say that I was addicted to gaining XP from this farm. It's actually unrealistically OP. Yet again, I enchanted a ton of books because I had that much XP. They might be useful for something. Fortune 3 yet again coming in clutch when harvesting. Here is footage of me getting a heart attack. The phantoms. Oh boy, I hate them. I hate them. It was a pleasure watching them burn. They made me wake up my whole family. Then I did some relaxing trading with the villagers and brewed myself a nice cup of tea because tea's the best. No milk though. No milk with your tea. I'm really surprised about how satisfying I found mining. I really loved it, and I was genuinely having so much fun doing it, and I don't know what was fun about it. As I was mining, I was secretly hoping that I was gonna come across a slime chunk, cause you never know when you're gonna need slime balls. Skeleton fight over here. They were never gonna beat me. Although it took me a while. All this mining really made me accumulate quite a bit of diamonds, so I mined all of these with a Fortune 3 pickaxe at once. And I was really curious to find out how many I was gonna get from here, and turned out to be 45, which was a nice healthy number of diamonds. I mean, I'll take it. Here's me trying to fix up my tools at my mob farm, and then realizing that I've got an enderman farm in which I could repair all my tools in literally seconds. Anyway, straight back to mining after this. I told you I liked it. I wanted to figure out a creative way on how to light the mine, so I went for glowstone. I collected it in one day, and then there was a slime that spawned, and that was a huge moment, because that means that yes, there is a slime chunk. Even though the spawn rates might not be the best, a slime chunk is still a slime chunk. And then I attempted to light this place up to prevent further mobs from spawning. Yeah, remember the super smelter that I started in the last episode? I still haven't actually finished it, so now it was time. Here's a quick little time lapse. Okay, let's skip a little bit further ahead, and this is what it was looking like, and I was pretty happy with it. I mean, it's a completely my design here, so I'll take it. Now it was time to start the second farm, and this was going to be the gold farm. For this, I needed to go all the way up in the nether. So I built up to bedrock and then used this glitch when you basically use a ladder and then an ender pearl to get up to the top of the nether. Which, I mean, it looks cool there, and I've never actually been here. But, how was it gonna get down now? We needed to break the bedrock for this, so I tried to use this little glitch. I think it's a glitch, and it didn't work out the first time, but after a couple of tries, it worked! Yay! But I built another portal anyway, so it didn't really matter. But it was good fun, I guess. I needed to gather a bunch of resources, and you might be wondering, why am I getting seagrass right now? Well, that's because we needed eggshells for this, or turtle shells. Not eggshells, turtle shells. So I went around looking around the area, and whilst I was doing that, I found this mesa biome, which was going to be amazing, and it's going to open up a whole range of possibilities for the future, which I'm pretty hyped about. I also found this gold block, so yeah. But eventually, after a good while of searching, I found these turtles. Not only that, I found more turtles over there with a village, so that was nice. I was pretty impressed by how good this village looked. Like, it looks sick. Then I needed to actually grab the turtle legs with a silk touch pickaxe. And could we just take a little second to appreciate how cute this little dude is? Like, seriously, that's the cutest thing in Minecraft. But I had to take away his sibling, sadly. It was really a sad moment, no joke. I tried to get this turtle to go onto the beach, but he kept on running away from me, so really wasn't happy with that. But eventually I managed to get the final eggs that were needed for this. Obviously I couldn't go back to my base without stopping by the mesa biome and just checking out how much gold there actually is in the mines. It was ridiculous. I also found this bamboo forest, so I had to stop by and get some bamboo. And then probably the most exciting couple of hours of my life was just spent gathering a bunch of magma blocks. I literally needed 2 full shulker boxes of them. So you can definitely imagine that it was gonna take a while, and it did. It was so boring, but they were relatively easy to find. I had a little incident here. Yep, the lava. Very annoying, but I guess it wasn't too bad at all. After spending days of gathering magma blocks, I thought that I had enough, and I was now able to proceed, but quickly I needed to get some more sand for glass, but that wasn't too bad. Especially with my super smelter that I just finished. The smelting process was super easy. Nope, definitely didn't want to smelt my shulker box. On day 254, I repaired my tools using my enderman farm, and I was finally able to start the construction of my gold farm. And this yet again is a design that I got from Shulker Craft, so go check them out. They were an absolute lifesaver in this video. But yeah, it essentially carried on the build just following the tutorial, just like I did with the enderman farm. And building up these magma platforms took me a ridiculous amount of time as well. And knowing my math skills, I miscalculated something and I did run out of magma blocks, which sucked, and I had to go back and get more. But then it was really just adding the finishing touches, such as building this glass platform so that no gas spawned. then after building an AFK platform and trying to get onto it, I mean, it was a pretty terrible attempt, to be completely honest. I am not an Elytra King, but eventually I got onto it, and this is where I'm just gonna stand there and wait. After some time, when I went down and checked how much gold I got, I was really surprised. I was not expecting to see this much gold. 56 blocks after 2 days of AFK, and that was absolutely brilliant. I continued expanding my mine on day 268. I had so much gold that I was even able to make some golden carrots.
Hell yeah.
And yes, I might have AFK'd for a little bit longer at the gold farm, and now I had over 100 blocks of gold. Next up, I needed to find 6 wither skulls, and I was prepared to spend a lot more time than I did in the beginning. The first couple of withers didn't drop any skulls. However, literally like the 4th and 5th wither I killed dropped a skull each, which was insane. Like, that literally blew my mind. Literally a couple of withers later, this one drops it, this one picks it up, and then drops it again, which was just ridiculous. I was mind blown by that, but I didn't know they could pick it up. And look at this, literally the next one drops another wither skull. I was literally crazy, I swear I'm not cheating. And again, I guess, I really didn't spend long on this. Like, genuinely took me about like 15 minutes to get 6 wither skulls, which is nuts considering that last time it took me like an hour and a half to get 3. But now I was preparing for combat against 2 withers. I went really far away from my base because I knew that they were gonna do a ton of damage. And as I landed, I started building up 2 of them, and I was really thinking that I was gonna regret all of this. After doing some final checks, I spawned both of them in, and then I gave them some distance just in case they blow me up. And now it was about time to start the fight. Luckily, at first, they didn't seem to be interested in me. They were more interested in the pigs, but this one started hitting me. So I started hitting him back with my bow. As this wither went into stage 2, it lured me into this lake, and it did kind of put me at a disadvantage as I couldn't move as well as I did before, but I switched to my sword and I started hitting him, and eventually I killed him, and this one wasn't too bad at all. Little did I know it was about to get much worse. This wither was really saving up for this fight, and honestly, in the beginning, things went better with the other one. I was just taking a ton of bow shots at this wither, and it wasn't too difficult, let's just say that. As it went into stage 2, I fell through this hole, and from here, things were beginning to get worse. I was using ender pearls to get out of sticky situations, but because it took so long for them to teleport, the wither could do sufficient damage to me in the meantime. It got distracted by the pig, so that gave me some time to heal up. I hid behind the tree just to block some of the shots, but soon after I had to engage in a full-on one-on-one fight. I was just looking back and forth between my hearts and then the wither's health, and I just saw both of them going down like crazy, and I didn't even realize that I killed the wither at this point, and then all of a sudden I died, but luckily the totem of undying saved my life. So that was it, we defeated 2 withers. After this, I just went and collected all the wither roses that were left behind. When I came back to my base, I saw this cute little slime, but I had to kill it for the slime balls. I'm sorry for that. Then we had a ton of beacons, so I destroyed the one that had in the bottom, and then I put it in its rightful place. Next couple of days, we're on the iron farm, and then I remembered that I still haven't resummoned the ender dragon, so I had enough gas tiers to craft 4 end crystals anyway. Well, technically, I could have done 8, but fighting the ender dragon twice would just be kind of boring. I went to the enderman farm to make sure that all of my tools and especially my elytra were all repaired and set to fight. And it was finally the moment to place the last end crystal and resummon the ender dragon. Now magic things started happening, these little beams, and then all of a sudden the dragon popped out. Having an elytra for this time made things so much easier. Taking out the end crystals was no longer a problem. And yes, I am aware that I just missed the past couple of shots. After I took them out, I was just following the dragon in the air and just taking some bow shots, and when it came down to the ground, so did I, and then I started hitting it with my sword. When it knocked me up into the air, I thought that I could hit a trick shot or something, but it didn't really work out. I mean, it kind of did. I guess I killed it like that, but I thought this was going to look a little bit better. But nevertheless, this was it. I defeated the Ender Dragon for the second time, and the challenge was complete. On day 280, I went back to the Mesa biome and started gathering a bunch of red terracotta. And I also needed gravel to make concrete, and the reason that I was gathering all of this stuff is because I wanted to make a lighthouse. At first, I started turning powdered concrete into concrete using this method, but then I found a much more efficient method afterwards, luckily. Hey, I know it wasn't a masterpiece, but I mean, it looks pretty good to me. I wanted to keep the building momentum going, and I wanted to start another project. For this, I was gonna need a ton of red sand, and I mean a ton. After gathering over 1.5 shulker boxes full of red sand, I turned it all into chiseled red sandstone. Whilst I was building, I ran out of red sand, so I had to get a lot more of it. Yep, I ran out yet again. Third time's the charm. Oof, that really spiced up the base. Next 2 days I was AFKing at the gold farm. And then done some harvesting. I paid the good old villagers a little visit and traded some potatoes with them, and boy, that looked good. Continuing with the aesthetics theme, I added some gravel and then coarse dirt just about the path, just to spice things up a little bit, really. You guys remember how in the last episode I got a horse, and then I asked you guys for any name suggestions, so I went to the villagers and bought a name tag, and because there was quite a few suggestions, I added more horses to the stable, and I know that's a donkey. My horse was gonna be called Tesla. Then we had Uvuvuevue, that was a name that I made up actually. Then I got this suggestion from another person, Brunhausas, I don't know. And then we had Jester, and I really do hope that none of these names offended anyone. If they did, I'm very sorry for that, but thank you for the comments. The 300 days were almost up, but I really wanted to make a nether build, and this was going to be a glass dome around my nether portal, something that I said I was going to do before. And it was just something nice, easy, and relaxing, and I got to use the sponges yet again, and this took me more time than I hoped that it would to get rid of the water, but eventually I managed to do it. I also cleared all the inside from any stone and replaced it with glass as well. Hey, and I think that it looked pretty cool. I needed a dog, so I went into the forest and found one. I wasn't sure what to name him. That was a very minor issue because I lost him. I'm sorry, I know, I'm stupid. I thought the dog would have teleported about with me, but it stopped teleporting when I went on my elytra, and I messed up. I couldn't find it either. No, to compensate for the loss, I went and found a parrot and made it my pet. So yeah, we now had a parrot. Just look at us, best friends forever, for sure. I found this other parrot as well, but it was kind of weird and it didn't seem to fly. And I genuinely lost my parrot as well. Not even joking, the blue one was gone.
What am I doing? Oh my god.
AFKing with a high level of anxiety. This is what it looks like. I also AFK'd on my gold farm and collected some gold that was left over from previous tries and got a decent bit of gold, I guess. I built out a beacon beside my lighthouse. This one was more for cosmetics rather than actual practical use. I still had like another beacon left, so I can use that in the next episode for actual useful things, I guess, but this one, I think it just kind of looked cool. I also changed the colors of the beams on the beacons. I guess it was just like a switch up. On day 300, the final day, I built an emerald gate just to show off my dominance. But anyway guys, this would wrap it up for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. These videos take an incredible amount of time to make, but nevertheless, they're an absolute joy to make at the same time. So thank you so much for the support lately that this channel has been getting. I really do appreciate it. This is me going through the crops as usual. Why not? But anyways, see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.